You know, I was thinking a lot today, just how we got to this point in America. We went, I don't even know where to begin. We've had what seems like war after war after war after war. I mean, we've been on war since I've been in high school. I've been seeing wars since I've been in high school. Granted, there are a lot of older people who have also seen wars since they've been in high school, of course. But I'm still relatively young. I'm 32. And I'm just thinking, just the fact that I'm still relatively young and I've seen this amount of chaos, this amount of wars, like, it just goes to show, how docile we Americans have become. Just accepting so much BS over the last 20 years. And I'm not just talking about wars, but I'm talking about just increased cost of living, increased cost of homes, increased cost of goods and services, the pandemic that happened, the jabs that everyone seemingly so willingly accepted. Oh, here's $100. The government was, remember when the government was offering $100? Here's $100 if you get the jab. And people took that shit like it was nothing. Like, you're going to give me $100 and you want me to take your experimental vaccine that could fucking injure me, possibly, or kill me. And it did kill people. It killed a lot of people. Granted, COVID killed a lot of people as well, but this killed a lot of people too. It killed a lot of old people. People started getting blood clots, started having strokes, heart attacks, and started dying. I mean, this is serious shit. But people just started taking them anyway because of the fear-mongering. You see, we let fear-mongering, we let the government and everything, all their bullshit propaganda cloud our mind, cloud our judgment, cloud our thoughts, our feelings. And that fear and that, that manipulation from the government, the constant gaslighting has pushed us to constantly obey. They have conditioned us over the years. All these government entities have conditioned us over the years to obey, accept, no matter what costs, no matter what happens. You just got to obey. You just got to accept. You just got to do this. You got to do that. And people just eat it up. They eat it up. They've accepted it. And we have become so fucking docile because of it. Again, I mentioned, look at Nepal, what they did. Look at Nepal, what they did when the government got too big, when the government got too powerful, when they wanted change. What did they do? They started burning down. They burned down shit. They rioted in the streets. I'm not advocating for violence, right, in the U.S., but I'm just saying what they did, all right? Look at what the French did. French Revolution. Same with Iceland. They've done riots. They've done riots, and they've had actual change and success with it. Protests. Look, guys, what I'm saying is, we used to protest back in the day. What happened? Remember what happened with the tea tax? Americans protested the tea tax. They threw all the tea overboard. They fought for change, and what happened? They won. They fought for change and they won. See, that's the America I want to live in. The America I want to live in is the one where we actually fought for what was right. We actually fought for good versus evil. We fought for unjustness, right? We fought against it, I should say. We fought against what was unjust and not right. That's, to me, that's what being an American is. Being an American patriot is fighting against what is what is unjust, what we know is wrong, fighting against this bullshit, this Epstein bullshit, like I said, fighting against this pedophilia, this satanic pieces of cannibalistic shit that are in our government that we pay taxes to. Fighting against this is what makes Americans, what makes Americans strong, what makes them patriotic. That's what makes me feel like an American. Honestly, if I was to describe how America should be, it should be like this. Should be strong men, feminine women, and especially men willing to do what it takes to dismantle, unfair systems and unjust rules, and, make sure that things don't get too out of hand. But it's because of, many different things because of brainwashing, because of social media and the government gaslighting men into believing that it's toxic for them to be strong and they need to be weak and more feminine and docile. And then you have women convinced that they need to be more masculine and be more career oriented and this and that and not feminine and all this stuff. All right. My point is, all this brainwashing, all this stuff has got us to where we are. And now we are literally, we've literally attacked Iran, Operation Epstein Fury, everybody's calling it, to avoid the fact that these files are so bad and so grotesque that they cannot be released under any circumstances. So that's why that strongly believe is why Trump started a war, and many others, because they must be god fucking awful. If the secretary, Pam Bondi, said herself that the whole system would collapse if these files were released. Like I say, like everybody says, let it collapse. Let it collapse. Let's build something new. Let's build a new system. Because right now, guys, we have one chance to stop. I truly believe what's happening not only is a distraction from the Epstein files, but it's something bigger. It's a distraction from the digital ID system that they're putting in place for us. Just like China. China has, literally, you can go to China and you'll see men, hundreds, thousands of men out on the streets, cold, hungry, freezing to death, because they did something against the government that was against the government's will, against the government, what the government wanted, right? They did something wrong, or whatever it may have been. China has a million different things. It's a communist country. What else am I going to tell you? It's a communist country. They smited the government somehow, or they said something that the government didn't like, and they had their food shut off, or their credit cards and their access to their money shut off. So they can't buy food, they can't get into an apartment, and they're stuck outside. They're sleeping outside and under blankets and laying down on pillows. Like, this is the type of shit that they're trying to bring to the U.S., okay? The infrastructure is already in place for it, okay? Just look, we have our smartphones. We have so many digital ways that we need to verify ourselves. We have AI now. It's already there. Everything's already in place, right? They just need the final touches. But they need a distraction first, of course, which is the Iran war, the Epstein files. Like I said, this is all the distraction for something even bigger, which is full, total government control over your lives. I was watching a video. It was this lady, I think it was a reel, and this guy who was interviewing her was talking to her, and he was asking her, like, I forgot who she was. She knew a lot about this. She was talking to her. This guy was interviewing her, and she was saying, I'll get back to you on the name of who it was, but she was saying, if this digital ID goes through here in America, they will have full control of your life, everything. If you say something against the government, you can lose your house, you can lose your bank, you can lose all access to your money, you can lose anything. If there's another pandemic and you refuse to get the jab, you could be locked out of everything. If there's if you say something bad against the government, they can lock you out of everything. If you do anything wrong, they can lock you out. Or they don't even have to they can just lock you out. Your life would be under the full control of the government. I think it's safe to say that would be a horrible fucking idea. Based on China, based on the fact that it's already in Mexico, we know it's bad. We've seen it's bad. You have Chinese people on the internet telling you about this. Even though China constantly censors everything, you have reels, you have Chinese people talking about this digital ID. I was watching a reel from 2017. There was this Chinese man talking about what it was like to have the digital ID. They've had the digital ID for over 20 years, he said. Imagine 20 years of that kind of oppressive control in the United States of America. It would absolutely ruin the country. Everybody would be starving. We'd be starving. They would be complete slaves. No autonomy, autonomy over your body. If you don't get a jab, the government could lock you out of certain things or certain accounts, or just lock your money away. Anything. All right, but he was talking about these digital IDs. He's like, look, we've had these for over 20 years. And I'm telling you, these things are very bad. They're horrible. If you're caught doing any crime, the government can take money out of your bank account. If you say something bad against the government can lock you out of your bank account, or they can lock you out of your home, or anything, or they can make your car. They can turn off your car. They can do anything they want to. This is bad shit. This is the thing. If anything, we need to stand up to this. If anything at all, if we haven't stood up enough in the past for our rights being taken away and trampled on, but if anything, we need to stand up to this digital ID bullshit. Because if this passes, if the government doesn't allow us to have cash or any currency anymore, game over. Game over. You are a slave. We are already so fucking trapped with everything, by our credit cards, with our smartphones, with the cameras everywhere, with TVs. We are tracked down to the bone already as it is. Okay? But if you let them get the digital ID, you will experience a whole nother level of control that you do not want to experience. I know I don't. And I know many of you don't either. We don't have much time to stop this. There's not much time to say no. These protests, they can't be passive. We need to really we need enough people to come together and say no to this shit. And I'm just saying, I don't think it's going to happen peacefully, unfortunately. But there needs to be a massive gathering of people. Enough so this never comes to the U.S. It will, because if this comes to the U.S., it will mean the freedom of everything. Your amendments, your freedom of speech, everything. If this comes here, what would America even be? What would the United States of America represent anymore? It wouldn't be the land of the free, home of the brave, that's for sure. You would have no freedoms. Everything would be under full government control, and there'd be nothing you could do to stop it at that point. I believe it's happening within maybe the next year or two, maybe even sooner. It's definitely going to happen before 2030. They already have their 2030 schedule. I truly believe that, guys. We need to stand up. We need to continue making our voices heard. We need to protest if possible. If enough people protest against this bullshit, we need to do something. All right? This cannot come to pass in America. This cannot come to pass in America. It can't. It will mean the end of all your freedoms. And I think deep down, you guys know that. The ones that even the naysayers, even the doubters, who say this is another conspiracy theory. Yeah, you know what, buddy? I used to believe, I used to look at my dad like he was crazy every single time my dad told me about conspiracy theories. Even though I fucking hated my dad, I used to look at him crazy about the conspiracy theories. Now I know he was right. He was right about the conspiracy theories, okay? The government is not on your side. They will do this if they can get away with it. It just depends on how much you're willing to let them take, because if you give an inch, they will take a mile. And that's a fact. Thank you for watching the video, everyone. I needed to talk about this very, very important topic. I was talking about it with my brother, messaging back and forth, but he doesn't believe it. He thinks, well, there's nothing I can do. Can't control it. Nothing I can do. That's a fucking loser, defeatist attitude. You have to do something. This is your life on the line. This is your life on the line. Do you want to be a digital slave? I don't want to. I don't want to live in a world where my entire life is controlled by one entity and it's all on a fucking digital ID or a smartphone. That's not a kind of world I want to live in. And I don't think that's the kind of world you want to live in either. You guys need to stay alert. You guys need to stay vigilant and on top of the news, as depressing as it is, because you guys need to prepare for if and when this happens, because it will. If and when, I should say. If and when it happens, you need to prepare. So, that's the end of the video. Leave a like if you liked it. Put a comment down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.